Stephen Foster from ESPN Austin. What's up, Stephen?
Hey, man. How you guys doing tonight?
Not as good as you are. You living up the party. Happy birthday to you, man.
Hey, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. It is good to make it around the calendar once again. And this is my first time, believe it or not, spending my birthday in New York City, given the fact going to school up here and family up here. So a treat all the way around. I guess the commissioner and I, believe it or not, on the same wavelength.
Let me ask you a question. Is this the first time you're spending your birthday, quote-unquote, working?
No. I have no qualms working on my birthday, especially considering the great week that this has been. I tell you, got up here Monday, and it's just been fast forward, fastest 5 days of this year for me, but jam-packed with a bunch of activities, and New York bringing out the best of everybody from Jamie Foxx, Kevin Costner, you name it, the Reverend Jesse Jackson, and then a whole host of football stars and the like. So it's been a tremendous 5 days at the Sheraton New York Hotel off 53rd and 7th.
Did Jeff Blake make the trip with you this time, or did he bail like he did in Canton?
You know, he's got responsibilities. He'll tell you, he said, hey, man, I got kids, and he does a tremendous job as a dad doing that. But he will get to some of these events as 3 of the 4 the Blake family going off to college, so that'll free him up.
Basically, with you being up there Media Day, did you go to the Pete Carroll press conference on Monday?
We went to Media Day, yes, and we saw in Newark at the Prudential Center. My ride-along buddy Stu the Scout Myrick, and I. You met Stu at the Hall of Fame game as well. We were over there for both teams. There was an interesting setup where Broncos went first in the Prudential Center. They put AstroTurf on the floor. The main 5 guys, including Coach John Fox, in the middle, and the Broncos around, ate lunch, came back, and then the Seahawks went in the afternoon. Russell Wilson, Pete Carroll was number 2, Richard Sherman in the 3rd booth. Actually, there was 4, and then Chancellor was the 4th booth. And actually there was 5.
You didn't mention the person that was there for Media Day, I believe, on Tuesday. He didn't have a podium, Marshawn Lynch. Did you get anywhere near him, or was he still shy of the cameras and the microphones?
Marshawn Lynch was there for 6 minutes. And, you know, here's the interesting thing. The Seahawks knew that he was not going to do a lot on Media Day because they handed out sheets to show where the designation would be for all the players and coaches, and he was listed nowhere on Seattle's press sheet of location of players. So when I saw that, I knew Beast Mode was probably going to be there for a few minutes. He walked around maybe. Like I said, he was like Dougie Fresh. 6 minutes, Dougie Fresh, you're on, and then he was out.
he had the shades on like Dougie Fresh too. I also saw that for 6.5 minutes. Being in a media guy like you are and us, for 6 minutes he's out there. He doesn't give basically anybody the time of day, and then he gives Deion Sanders basically 2 minutes of his own. Does that at all make you mad that Deion Sanders, prime time gets 2 minutes with him and we don't?
No, not at all. What I want to see Marshawn Lynch do is have a blast in MetLife Stadium come February 2nd. That's what he needs to do. Everybody's different. And some people are gregarious. Some people introverted. Some people lie between the middle. This is a great game, as you know, and it takes all kinds on a team. And I can put people in various categories of teammates from the time I played youth football all the way through college and then coaching in college and then being my teammates and others that play professionally, including Jeff Blake. Jeff, it took a long time for him to speak and really become outgoing around a lot of folks, even myself. But on the football field, he's in total command and speaks a lot. I'm not surprised that Marshawn Lynch is a guy that is who he is, but he's a heck of a teammate and great player. He may get fined by the league, but, you get to see his personality. I don't like to talk much.
With you being at Media Day, and obviously this question has had to have come up. It came up to Pete Carroll on Monday. That's why he actually went to it. Is the fact that the two teams that are in the Super Bowl this year are the two states that have legalized marijuana. How often has that conversation? How often has the conversation come up amongst you media guys? I'm not going to say it's been asked to every player, but how often has it come up amongst you media guys?
Interestingly enough, and a very good friend of mine in Austin, because the mantra is keep Austin weird. My buddy Kyle Johnson at Bumper Act was working with I think it's what's the guy GraceStop.com, the wacky guy. We were talking about it. GraceStop.com, the cutting edge sports guy, Gary Shant. I'm having difficulty because everybody knows what I'm talking about. I'm just describing it wrong. Who's the kind of eclectic sports guy, show host, Gameland, Grant?
Oh,
okay.
Grantland. You talked from ESPN.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
Phil Simmons.
Right. Well. Interestingly enough, my buddy was, because I have never smoked, never been close to anything that was green, leafy, and dried. So I am a novice, as you can tell. I don't know anything about
Princeton grad.
But it doesn't have to do with Princeton grads, because I know some Princeton grads that understand exactly what you're asking me about. But we were looking to do a little promotion of the shirts that have the two legalized marijuana states and making kind of a Super Bowl championship shirt because of the fact of being the two legalized marijuana states. And so, I didn't know anything about Bill Simmons, Grantland, or anything like that, but I thought it was a cool idea. And so, there's got to be a champion of the legalized marijuana states, and no better and bigger states in the Super Bowl.
If you can get a picture of Peyton Manning or Richard Sherman smoking a fatty after the game and put it on a shirt, I think I would buy the shirt. I would definitely buy the shirt. All right, last time the last time the show of us collectively talked to you, we were on our drive actually to a Pittsburgh Pirate game the day after the Hall of Fame. You were doing your show live with Jeff Blake, and a tweet went to you that brought up the Winking Lizard, which is a bar in Cleveland. And my co-host here incorrectly tweeted you saying the Licking Lizard, which you did go on air and you kind of roughed us for it, which is fine. But thinking of seeing what you've seen in Cleveland, and we went to that cool bar in Cleveland, what is the coolest place that you've seen in New York or New Jersey, whatever, bar-wise, that it has a kind of cool name like that?
We went to the Flying Puck. And the reason why I do it, because most people would have thought, football or something like that. But we went to the Flying Puck, and we had an opportunity to do some hockey watching, and got a chance to break bread with some of our neighbors from Austin, Texas, that was there to see Billy Joel. And so we got a diverse opportunity by going to the Flying Puck. And then also, we all will laugh at this, I had an opportunity to go to the Keith Urban concert and have the second row seats. So
you had second row seats?
Yeah, I was mobbed by a gang of 22-year-old girls, but I lost some of my cold gear, but I'd trade off a lost glove for that any day of the week.
Oh, poor you being mugged by 22-year-old girls. I don't know how you were able to survive.
It's all part of the business, gentlemen. You clearly understand
it. Good one. Do you have plans in this year to go into the Pro Football Hall of Fame again?
Oh, would love to. My road dog, like I mentioned, Stu the Scout Myrick, we plan our opportunity to go back. There's some guys in this year's class, including a guy who I helped coach at Nebraska, Will Shields. Had an opportunity to speak with Will today, and if he's one of the guys, definitely would love to come back and cover folks that we know that we have relationships with, and that makes sense. But it's a great opportunity for folks across the country to get a special slice of pro football.
when we were in Ohio, I remember when you sat down with us, you told us about how you had been everywhere. You hung out in Cleveland the night before. You went to the golf tournament that day. You came and did the interview with us, and then you went to the enshrinement that night. Have you been doing that crazy amount of stuff nonstop all week while you've been in New York?
Absolutely. Up till about, I don't know, two each night. I'll tell you, 2 nights ago, I felt like I went through third and one, and a couple of linebackers hit me pretty square. I will say that I was headed towards having the trainers take my helmet away, but the next day was a little bit slow in reaction and getting up to the media center.
Who is somebody that you've run into since you've been there that you never expected in a million years you'd meet?
Oh, met the Reverend Jesse Jackson. We had him on live. Yes, and he was tremendously well versed in the statistics of the players and the teams. He was well coached, not just about his life and experiences, but he was completely on top of this Super Bowl and what it meant and what it means and what the players have done. And he also reached out a kind word to the commissioner and said, "Don't hold this in a cold weather spot ever again." So I really applauded him for that. Like, are you kidding me? So, yes, it would be Jesse Jackson, and then Kevin Costner was there, and then Lee Steinberg, had a chance to catch up with him. He's coming out with a new book called The Agent. It's just, everybody. Chris Tucker. I saw Chris Tucker coming up to the media center this morning, so that was a great way to start off the birthday morning.
Was he working on another thing with Jackie Chan and all out there, him and Chris Tucker?
I don't know. By the time I got there, he was on his way out, but he was very polite, said excuse me as he walked by, and I said hello, good to meet you, and sat down and went to work.
A couple more questions before we get out of here, Stephen. First question for you is, you were on Super Bowl Boulevard, obviously, right?
Let me tell you something. I walked from the hotel all the way up Broadway on Super Bowl Boulevard and froze my mucus off. Hands were cold. I was mad as the dickens. I can show you a picture. I can send it to you. There was icicles off the daggum field goal crossbar. It was so cold. And I vowed to never walk again, so I took the subway. But yes, I walked Super Bowl Boulevard.
All right, well, tweet that picture to me. Did you see the sandbag slide that's there?
You mean the
thing that they have like the carnival? Yeah.
Yes. I saw that. It's nuts.
Did you go on it or no? No.
This was in the morning. People were scraping snow and stuff off of that. And now, tonight you can really see how the crowd has come together. It's a little bit warmer. Actually not bad outside. And Broadway is packed.
Did you have any Jerry Seinfeld encounters while you were there?
No, thank goodness. I love watching the show, no.
Oh, you're not, so you're a Seinfeld guy, but all right. And last thing before we get you out of here is we always ask our guests for a last call, basically a shout out to anything in sports. What would Stephen Foster's last call be this evening?
Shout out to Jim Zorn, the first well-known quarterback and drafted quarterback of the Seattle Seahawks. I believe Seattle's going to win this game. I think that they've done some very good things. I know 4 out of the 5 times you had the number 1 offense and number 1 defense, but now you have the number 1 offense and number 1 total offense versus number defense, number 1 total defense. Shout out to the Pacific Northwest. I've lived out there when my stepfather was stationed at Fort Lewis, and so I feel pretty confident in what the Seattle Seahawks bring, although the consummate professor of pass and Peyton Manning is going to be hard to beat, but I like the Seahawks 24-20 in Super Bowl 48.
We're talking with Stephen Foster, so that's your official pick. You're taking the Seahawks.
Official pick on my birthday, Seahawks 24.
Awesome. Good.
Broncos 20.
Awesome. Good stuff, Stephen. Thanks for joining us. Check him out at Foss_sports. Stephen Foster. Also check him out on ESPN Austin. He co-hosts there with one of my favorite quarterbacks of the New York Jets, or former quarterback of the New York Jets, Jeff Blake. Definitely hope to hook up with you down the road, and we definitely want to hook up with you when we're out at the Pro Football Hall of Fame if you do come out again.
Absolutely, fellas. Have me on any time. I appreciate it. Thanks. I enjoyed taking time out of the birthday to reconnect. Y'all are true stand-up professionals in the sports media world. Thanks again, Tom, having me on tonight.